Morning, everyone. I am on my way to work. I've had a lot of big life changes over the last several months. Marriage, new job, and now also a housing issue, which takes a lot of time. So I apologize I haven't been uploading as often as I say I will. But anyways, I've got a lot of videos I want to make right now, but today I'm going to just start with this little one, because every once in a while I like to listen into NPR and see what the National Propaganda Radio is talking about. And there's so many articles that are just utter and complete fiction and nonsense sold to us as truths. And today the most, sometimes certain articles or stories are more infuriating than others, and one that I heard today was particularly infuriating because it's the opposite of the truth, which, as we know, the Democratic Party and the left, and perhaps some Republicans as well, because I'm not really an ally of Republicans, because Republicans have put out plenty of their own propaganda as well. Think George Bush Jr., when there was no weapons of mass destruction, we kept selling that there was. So, neither political party is on your side. If you're new to this channel, know that I'm a staunch libertarian, and I'm a huge advocate of a constitution. So I'm kind of a constitutional minarchist, and I'd like to see the United States go back to our constitutional roots and re-empower the Constitution, because although we've got our Bill of Rights that enough people know about, that they care about and they protect, but there's just hundreds and hundreds of law, maybe thousands, honestly. I'm obviously not a lawyer, I don't know, but I know for a fact there are hundreds of laws that are just forgotten, basically, that, if we actually abided by these laws, we would be able to not only hold a lot of our politicians on trial for treason, but we would be able to execute them as well, because they have committed treason in numerous ways. And that's many politicians across the political spectrum, meaning Democrats and Republicans. And thus, it's another reason I'm staunchly not a fan of our two-party system. But hey, it's a lot better than a one-party system that we see in all communist countries. So going back to the story that NPR was running today, June 12th, 2019. If you don't watch my channel, I live in SF, San Francisco, and they put out an article saying that, we see a lot of construction, a lot of new high-rises going up in San Francisco, a lot of new investments still coming in for San Francisco, the most expensive city in the world right now. I believe it's still the most expensive city in the world right now. And then they say, but what we don't see a lot of? Black people. And I just laughed my ass off for a second, just because that could not be further from the truth. In fact, compared to the total population of the country, black people are overrepresented here, probably 2 to 1. Like, we see double the amount of black people we should probably. In the downtown area in particular, you see more black people during the day than probably any other group of people, because they like that area. And there's a lot of low-income housing down there, which means they live there. And, if it wasn't for the low-income housing, if we got rid of the low-income housing, which London Breed will never do, her whole campaign was running for helping with the housing and homeless issues. For one, for three, that's for 1 and 2, I guess. For 3, she's black herself, so she'll never do that. And so downtown, they're overrepresented. And while I've been working in a more freelance position over the last 2 years, working for multiple startups and such as, don't worry about that, but working in the freelance space, I've had to compensate during dry spells where I didn't have a client. And so I started working for Caviar. And trust me, driving around downtown, outside of downtown, black people are still represented at a normal percentage. They live all across the city in a very healthy quantity. In fact, they might still be overrepresented considering they're less than 20% of the population. And I honestly feel like they're like 1 in 5 houses at least was an African American family. So, national propaganda radio, I've been listening to it on and off for almost 5 months now. Actually, no, I think I started in January, so like 6 months almost. By the end of this month, yeah. Anyway, but they put out stories sometimes that are complete nonsense. But one thing they consistently do, which is complete nonsense, is always, every day, at least twice a day, is remind everybody about how bad black people have it in this country. And personally, I've looked at a lot of evidence. I've got black friends, conservative black friends that have woken up from their upbringing, because a lot of these people are raised in a very brainwashed state, because they're basically told what to do, and to question it is like verboten. Like to vote non-democratic is like against your people. Like if you even vote against a Democrat, you're now a coon. You're a traitor to your people. Like that kind of belief system. Are you kidding me? That is like a whole big step beyond like killing the freedom of speech. Like if you can't even talk about it, otherwise you're a traitor to your people. Like, you hear where I'm coming from? Like, there's an immense amount of propaganda aimed towards black people, and the NPRs of the world. There's more than one agency. I listen to, I think, the NPR that runs not just San Francisco, but the greater Bay Area, but it's not the same NPR that's ran in other parts of the country. But they're running a bunch of fictitious articles to push a narrative. And in the 1984, I think it was, there was a big expose on NPR and how they had CIA employees hired as interns. And so, although we know from Project Northwoods, I believe it is, or no, I'm sorry, Mockingbird. Operation Mockingbird is when the CIA infiltrated the media in this country. That goes all the way back to the 50s. And we know that nothing's changed there. Every congressional hearing that has asked the CIA, are you still running our media? They say, we can't answer that. We'll need to talk within a congressional secret meeting, or I'm forgetting the technical word for a non-public meeting with Congress and CIA, but there's a word for it when you meet in private with Congress. Congressional privilege or something it is. I'm sorry. But that's not really important. But what we know is that NPR can't be trusted. And I don't want this video to run too long, but here's the real meat of this whole video right here. At my current new job, I have a new friend that I sit next to, but they're only there for 3 days of the week, and she is open-minded, and she has told me how when she was brought up, she's European, her older family members, like uncles, her father and such, would collect, she was raised in the USSR. I'm just going to cut to the chase to make this more interesting. She was raised in the USSR, and her parents were very hush-hush about anything that would have been considered treason, and would have gotten them sent to the gulags. But her uncle and father did collect all these articles from around the world that were exposing the communist government for what it really was, and how Vladimir Lenin, for example, was sent to Russia like a weapon. He was a weapon, and he got sent there like a weapon, in a sealed train, like some kind of a plague that could not outbreak anywhere else. So they sent him in a sealed train that didn't stop till they hit St. Petersburg, as the story goes. and they left from Germany, and the Germans gave them millions and millions of dollars in gold, something that no matter what would always have real intrinsic value, because no fiat currency is going to bribe a people that have seen their currency inflated and deflated as many times as the Russians under the czars. So, the czars were better rulers than the USSR ever were, but, and that's written throughout many different books I've read from Russians, but most Russians today don't know that. It's just too long, it's too far back in the past, ancient history. So, I am encouraging you guys to open your mouth and share my book list with anyone that's open-minded like this. Someone who has told you about how when they were young, their parents would tell them things and they didn't understand fully, but that they questioned the political system around them and the reality. They questioned the matrix, if you will, and the false reality that the Democrats and Republicans have been selling us for a long, long time. So I encourage you guys to, be missionaries of truth. And that just means being bold enough to open your mouth. You don't have to get too political with it. You don't have to talk candidates. You can talk policy. You can talk history. You can talk philosophy. You can talk facts. Okay? You don't have to get political all the time, but it's time. We've had Trump for basically going on 3 years now. Yeah, wow. Time flies, guys. We've only got one more year of Trump. That is so sad. Anyway, saying these things out loud for some reason makes you really feel it. So sorry, I'm having that was a real reaction to the fact that we only get one more year of Trump, and that's a scary thought, because if he doesn't get reelected, which I think he will, it could bode very poorly, because not enough good things have happened. Though the best thing that has happened is you and I and people like us have become more enlightened, and this time in history, in American history and world history, I do believe maybe become known as the Re-Enlightenment. And it's because countries like Haiti from around the world are realizing that their media that they have was not working for them, that they were bribed, that they were owned by other entities, and that they were not getting the truth. And if the media is not giving you truth, they're actually the opposite of valuable. They're not valuable. They're a threat to your entire country. Whether it's a democracy or not, doesn't matter. It's a threat to the people, because of a brainwashed people are people that cannot self-govern themselves properly because they don't know the truth. Anyways, guys, I encourage you to go out today and for the rest of the month, if not the year, if not forever, and share your feelings and thoughts with somebody that is not necessarily a truther yet. And whether they're a liberal or not, doesn't matter. Just share, talk. It's great to spread the truth to people. And one by one, we're gonna take this country back eventually. I mean, the truth is on our side. Okay, I think that's all we need. Truth needs to always win. It needs to always win, because anyone else is either mentally ill or they're evil. It's basically that. Whether they're bribed or not, doesn't matter. That's evil behavior, in my opinion, to not be telling the truth. So, if you guys are Christian, pray for the strength to find more people to talk to about the reality in which you live in. Okay? Thanks for watching, everyone. Sorry I couldn't use cool clips of articles, but NPR is just the radio. They're getting away with murder out there, so I have nothing to show you, so I thought I'd just tell you on my way to work today. So hopefully you enjoyed this. Please give me a like and subscribe if you did like this kind of content, and check out some of my other videos. Anyways, guys, have a good day. Peace out.